Welcome. In this session of Kurukshetra, we'll be talking about some of the important developments related to Panchayati Raj. So, India has a vast rural area with nearly 6.5 lakh villages and 65% of the total population that lives in villages. Strengthening the administration, the infrastructure, the basic facilities in the village, therefore, becomes important. To alleviate that, local governance, social change, and public service delivery must be enhanced, and the traditional panchayats must be updating their rules and regulations to have a strong system where the overall upliftment of the youth, women, children, and farmers can take place. So, post the 73rd constitutional amendment, there have been 20 different subjects which have been allotted to panchayats, and they have been working on to that. More than 650 videos on YouTube channel are present by Ministry of Panchayat. So, it does have a social media presence as well. Now, coming on to the kinds of work. So, one is e-governance. E-Gram Swaraj was launched in 2020, and the idea is bettering or enhancing the governance in the Panchayati Raj institutions. And for that, what could be the way out? So, there could be the real-time payment to the vendors and the service people, development plans for the panchayats, planning, prioritization, and execution. The idea of minimum government with maximum governance. So, even with minimum people, how good the governance can be, and the development plans, the government e-marketplace, how you can implement that. But it does have its challenges. Major challenge comes in the form of security of information, piracy of information, and how to have a smooth service delivery facility. So there are 8 characteristics of good governance which apply to rural as well as urban areas, so not just to Panchayati Raj, but it is good governance should be participatory, consensus oriented, transparent, accountable, responsive, efficient, equitable, and abiding to the rules which are there. One very important aspect is मेरी पंचायत मेरा अधिकार जन सेवाएं हमारे द्वार. That means our panchayat and our the things that we own. Okay, so what rights we have are to be discussed with the common people, and all the facilities that a common man in a village requires must be available at their doorstep. So what kind of services? It includes education, health, telemedicine, banking, finance, private sector, or any kind of infrastructural facilities that are required. Now when I say telemedicine, this has changed the rural areas drastically, because so far people had to move to urban areas, take appointment, spend a whole lot of day just commuting. But with telemedicine, remote things can be done, and remote prescriptions can be given to the people, and this has boosted the development in the local areas. Now the next is Swamitva scheme. Now this is the mapping with the help of technology in village areas. Through this, the land holdings, the size of the holdings have been demarcated, the issuance of property cards has been done, and this has made it possible to abide to more transparent ways of property records, and this has been a game changer in asset monetization as well. This has been made possible how? Through the drone technology, and therefore the drone sectors and the drone technology is also growing. So capitalizing the property, reducing any disputes of property, updating the land records, and providing property rights to the person who actually owns it has been the basis for this Swamitva scheme. A very important scheme, and it does have its operating reference stations which are there to support the ground control points. It works mainly with Gram Panchayat, PWD, Rural Development, Agriculture, Drainage, and other departments, but it has its challenges. Sometimes the local people are not ready to participate. Sometimes the implementation takes time. There are conflicts within the family which does not allow this to work efficiently. Cost effectiveness of drone technology needs to be brought, and then mapping this exercise, through which we definitely require manpower in the first round. The next is how do we dream for the period of this Amrit Kal, which is providing power to the people, and the concept of 3F: funds, functions, and functionaries. Together 3 can help attain the sustainable development goals in the rural areas. So bridging the rural urban divide, having an adequate resource for revenue, effective disaster management plan. The next is providing awards to the panchayats under the National Panchayat Award, and this helps each of the panchayat to do their best. So it is just a way that of motivating the panchayats and the sarpanch to have their grassroots level development at their best. Now, Article 243 talks about the process and the structure and the constitution of Panchayati Raj institutions. 243B talks about the functions at the village, intermediate and the mandal level, except where the population in the state is less than 20 lakhs. Now, during the British time, in 1870, Mayo Resolution was brought, and then there was a resolution which was promulgated due to the First World War of the First Independence War of 1857. The idea was to decentralize any form of taxations which are levied, and then in 1907, the very first time the panchayat needs were recognized by the Royal Commission, Hobhouse, chaired by Hobhouse, and this brought in series of developments since then. So development plans were laid down: Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan, E-Panchayat, Panchayat Sashaktikarana Yojana, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and Swamitva, the latest in addition. For the health coverage, there have been health and wellness centers under the Ayushman Bharat which have been established for outreach, mobile medical units, camps, home and community-based healthcare, and this has an aim to reduce the out-of-pocket expenses of an individual on healthcare, increasing their savings which could be better spent somewhere else. So eSanjeevani, which is a national telemedicine service portal, has four sustainable development goals. One is good health, gender equality, industry innovation, and finally goal to reduce inequalities. So with a good IT system, if we look onto the universal health coverage under Ayushman Bharat, we have the health and wellness centers followed by the secondary and the tertiary centers which fall under the PM Jan Arogya Yojana. And through the health and wellness centers, the idea is providing quicker delivery, telemedicine facilities, infrastructure, knowledge implementation, and promoting overall health and wellness. The budgets for the same was announced in 2018. Then there was the first application which was done in Jangla in Bijapur region. Then there was a consultation which was established on primary health care. The guidelines for the same were given, and so far we have more than 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers which are established. Now, the service providers include CHO, sub-health centers, then medical officer, and then to reduce the overcrowding at the secondary and the tertiary level, these primary grassroots levels are important, where extended information on basic diseases and basic treatments can be done. Also, Ayush concepts, yoga practitioners have been brought under the health and wellness aspect. So it is focusing on a promotive healthcare, right eat, fit India, then a focus on better healthcare facilities, so checking the issues of malnutrition, anemia, any kind of communicable or vector-borne diseases, preventive healthcare which includes the screening for oral, breast and cervical cancers, hypertension, diabetes, and then under the human development, it's extremely important to understand the district planning committee under Article 243ZD, focusing on the draft development for the district level, the political, administrative, financial and economic decentralization. So the three tier of the Panchayati Raj includes the Zilla Parishad, the Block Panchayat or the Panchayat Samiti, and finally the Gram Panchayat, which has minimum of 5 constituencies. So panchayats have been involved with climate change, disaster risk management, and the idea is to bring in better water availability, better water management facilities, check the events of extreme weather conditions, and focus on disaster management. Coming on next is the role of Panchayat in education. Now, Madhya Pradesh had been doing continuous efforts for decentralization of management of school management and providing the responsibilities to the Panchayati Raj system. So, village education committee at Gram Panchayat becomes extremely important. The growth in the enrollment of children and the primary enrollment growth, as we could see, how they have increased over the time. The same, it is not just with the health or the education. Then it comes with water, so what are a very important topic? Pani Samiti. So Alwar is a classic example where Pani Panchayats have been established. The idea is creating johars, or the areas where water could be conserved, and that could be utilized for the lean months where you do not have ample water availability. So preparing a water budget, a water plan, and a water safety plan is a very important means for the survival of Panchayati Raj institutions. Similarly, we have another important scheme, which is Atal Bhujal Yojana, which deals with groundwater. So various districts in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh have targeted how to manage this groundwater resource by having a proper structure, budgeting the water, and preparing the plans. Also providing piped water supply to every household through the Jal Jeevan Mission or the Har Ghar Jal Yojana. Information, education, and communication being the major mission, and vision to provide tap water supply to every household by 2024. Now there have been various associations for this action. Panchayats have been working forward and a sustainable development goal with Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas as a basic idea, through which the idea mainly is to protect the planet, reduce the poverty, bring in peace and prosperity, then focusing on the social economic development and linking the horizontal as well as the vertical key stakeholders in order to ensure that the goals are achieved to the best. So there are various different schemes, bringing those schemes together, converging those schemes, bringing a participatory outcome-based planning approach, interventions across various tiers of the panchayat system. As we said, some of the important goals include good health, clean water, clean energy, sustainable communities, and responsible consumption among the major ones. India definitely is behind all the South Asian countries except Pakistan. So India's rank, if you see here, we have the other ranks, we have the ranking here, but the overall sustainable development goal score of India is 65. So therefore we need to understand that India has been slipping from the ranks of 117 to 121, and that is a score which is even below Bangladesh. So within India, the top rankers include Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Himachal Pradesh. The least rankers include Bihar, Jharkhand. So what have been the reason where our progress for the sustainable development goals have been delayed? Definitely COVID-19, the pandemic outbreak, climate change, the conflicts within the states and the regions, and the gap in the real data that is being provided. The next important pillar of efficient Panchayati Raj institution is women empowerment. So how local governance can be strengthened at grassroots level, where we say we have 1/3 of the representation for the females, but on the center level, if we reach this representation, actually falls significantly. So once you have a reservation for the women, including women from SC/ST, the chairman at the 3 tiers of the panchayat, why does not percolate at the center level or the state level, right? So representations in the panchayat have been mandatory after the 73rd amendment, and Balwant Rai Mehta committee nominated 2 women as the members of panchayat who have interest in women and child development. Later on, there was Ashok Mehta committee who recommended that 2 women who got the highest number of votes in Zilla Parishad would become a member. There had been a national perspective plan for women which says 30% of the seats would be reserved. So the levels at which this has to be done is elaborate. Good performance has been indicated through training, proper representation, proper education facilities, but there are still important tasks ahead. The representation at the state and national level needs to be enhanced. The exposure visits needs to be increased for women candidates. Sometimes it is politically influenced, so breaking that chain, independent existence must be there, and a separate quorum for women participation should be established at the local grassroots levels. So reservation is one such way of promoting, but establishing a quorum would further give this a boost. So those were some of the important topics that we have discussed for today under Panchayati Raj institutions. Extremely important edition for this time will be covering Yojana, Kurukshetra and Down to Earth on a regular basis every month. So stay subscribed for further updates, and the handouts for the same are available in the description link. Wish you very good luck. Thanks for joining in.